But then the question becomes what you're influencing them for. Are you pushing them further towards the world with that action, with that joke, with that tweet? Or are you influencing them for Christ? What is your effect on their lives? Are you causing them, by what you're doing, by what's coming out of your life, are you causing them to think more of Christ or less of Christ? What's your effect? People are looking at your life, and I think too often we fail to recognize this. Too often we fail to realize that people see what you do, that people see how you live your lives. People are looking at how you live, whether you realize it or not. People see the things you put on Facebook. People see the things you tweet. People hear the things you say. People see the things you do, the places you go. People see your lives. And if you claim Christian and your life doesn't parallel that, if your life doesn't reflect that, that's an issue. Because people see our lives, because we need to live rightly in light of our Creator, in light of what He's done for us, Peter tells us to keep our conduct before this world honorable, that Christ might be elevated, that Christ might be esteemed, above reproach. Why do we do this? It's a response to what Jesus has done in our lives, first and foremost. But secondly, we don't want to give them any evil in our lives to point to that would reflect on Christ. We don't want to disgrace the name of Jesus by any means, with anything that we do. That has to be our heart. So think about what people are seeing. Do they see you making fun of that kid at that party, cussing on Twitter, stealing that thing, being mean to that girl? Certainly not an exhaustive list. Just a few options for how your life might look different from Christ's. But think about that in your own life. Think about the places you find yourself. Even if you don't participate, but find yourself in those spaces surrounded by that sin and a part of that evil and darkness. People associate you with that. People see you there, and they merge the two. We want them to see good. We want them to see how Christ has changed our lives, not for our glory, but for the glory of the gospel that has changed our lives, right? That's what we want. That's what we want. It's not so they can talk about how good of a Christian guy Owen is or how good of a Christian kid you are, but it's so they can say and see how good of a God we have. That should be our heart. That's our mindset. That's what we need to be about. Guys, this world is filled with sin. We see it. We should certainly speak to it, but we shouldn't be associated with it. We shouldn't find ourselves there. And if you're in those spaces, if you're in those mindsets of sin, remove yourself from it. For your benefit and for the benefit of Christ's glory, for the benefit of Christ's name.